end the show.
Moro, I mean, this is a very worrying development.
Okay.
It's a very clear affront to the very tenets of our Constitution that actually sort of seeks to have a clear separation of powers. An affront to the judiciary, which is an arm of government that has the same, if not equal, responsibilities and contributes to the democracy that we've all clamored for. You see, Hamza tried to stay away from the subject and then came back now claiming that even the venerable Chief Justice has been culpable in terms of leaking documents and all of that without any clear evidence from that perspective. Now, knowing your ilk and the kind of politics you do, and even the justifications that you've tried to put out this morning, can be a clear indication of this whole thing coming from your stables. But, I mean, again, I don't speak for, I mean, when it comes to these matters, I don't speak for the Chief Justice. I have not gotten her permission to speak on her behalf. She has every right to defend herself. I believe strongly that even this whole conversation around a prima facie, in the way that it has been now articulated by Hamza, is flawed from the word go. And people have spoken. I'm not a lawyer. I mean, lawyers have suggested that even the Constitution itself, in how it's being interpreted by the NDC and the President to a certain extent, is even flawed to start with, and that we have to be looking at it from that perspective. How do you create a system where, I mean, Moro sitting there, somebody sends a petition to Metro TV that you did ABC, and so get off the show, and all of the things that are supposed to accrue to you are being investigated by people who sit in a room and even already pronounce you guilty. And then you have a composition of a committee that's supposed to sit in camera, and you're justifying that. And that's the reason why even the president has the responsibility of discretion, which means that whilst you're doing all of these things to suit whoever the hawkish elements within your political party or government who are asking for the head of the Chief Justice, some of these decisions have far-reaching consequential effects, and everybody knows that. But I'm just saying that, you see, so in one breath,
she's not been pronounced guilty.
Listen, in one breath, the same government claims that she has not been pronounced guilty.
Yes.
But you have elements like Hamza, I mean, charting a certain narrative. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes, I mean, it makes some of these conversations. It makes some of these conversations extremely.
That's unfair.
No, listen. Extremely.
You said your submission.
Have I said that the woman is guilty?
No, listen. Extremely difficult because you see, you are actually attributing illegality and attributing certain things to her by a document that you claim that you cannot even corroborate, that you can't authenticate. I mean, how do you, in one breath, right, make these pronouncements and say that even you can't authenticate that?
He says, if what is being said
is the point. You see, listen, come on. I mean, I was sitting here quietly listening to you. It's a bit, I mean, it's a bit of a low blow for you to say that I wasn't listening. I'm listening to you. I respect you. I would listen to you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So for me, I believe strongly that, you see, coming from the NDC, sometimes I quiver, and it's a bit, I mean, gut-wrenching for me, because this is coming from a people who have a history, an antecedent, right, of going into the homes of 3 judges, High Court judges, and they were murdered under their watch. You understand what I'm saying? So now, these are an ilk who have moved away from these, if like, extrajudicial killings to trying to use a thin-veiled, if you like, constitutional attempt to remove a Chief Justice based on some flimsy, whatever petitions that people have put out there. But for me, what I say is that when you do that, what you're doing is the same precedent that talks about Ghana's democracy and how far we've come and everything. It's single-handedly taking our democracy back to the dark old days.
All right.
And this is not something that we should be countenancing just because it's politics and all of those things. And I back my political party saying that from the minority side, from the national executive angle, that it is something that it should not be countenanced and Ghanaians should resist it.
Okay.
Because, you see, it will not stop there.
Okay.
They started with all sorts of things. There are elements within the security apparatus who are not happy because of certain things that have been done. The people have been employed in various positions. They were, some of them, well in advance before even elections. You've removed them and all of that. And now you have actually now decided to go after a Chief Justice for what?
Okay.
You understand? So for me, I think that if we really are minded by the things that we say and we mean them, it should be anchored in principle.
Okay.
You cannot do these things and also be sitting on platforms, international platforms and everything, right, espousing democratic credentials.
All right.
You can't do that.
Okay.
Right? And it is a clear affront to
Moro,
the judiciary.
this is important.
No,
Just
time is
under
up.
a minute.
No,
Moro, see, this is very
Otherwise,
important.
don't take us off.
No, Moro.
No, but
after
even
30
he
seconds.
spoke, he spoke for, he spoke
No, Maurice,
for
I just want to
10 minutes.
correct. I just want to
a
correct
little-
an impression
yeah,
that he
yeah.
has created. You see, when our colleagues are frustrated with the facts
Do I
and they
look
have no
frustrated?
legal
I'm not
leg,
frustrated. No.
they have no
I have-
legal leg to stand
I-
on. What they
admit
simply
it,
do
I'm not frustrated
is
at
to
all.
attempt to take solace
I'm not frustrated
in
at all.
our what's the name, outside the Fourth Republican
Your
Constitution.
dark past,
That is PND,
which you
were
were very proud
you see,
of just
that is
recently,
not what
just a
is
few
before
minutes
the
ago.
people
You were
of this
talking
country
about
today.
your revolutionary past.
You are
and
dealing
what
with
it
the
is that you're
Constitution,
doing. You're
and the
very
Constitution
explicit.
prescribes
You
a
understand?
certain rule for the president to
Moro,
follow.
if you do that, that's
If you
unfair
feel
to
that
because
the
you
president,
actually-
if you feel that the
that's-
president is not going according to the dictates of the Constitution, you people claim to be the doyens of legal.
Yeah, but the point is that, Moro, if you
Go
do
for it and
that,
challenge
you're being unfair.
But, my brother, your frustration will not help the woman.
I'm not frustrated
The
at
point
all.
is that allow the
very good
system
friend,
to
very
work.
good friend. Hamza,
You
very good
people
friend.
took Charlotte
Chief of
Osei
Staff.
through
Yeah.
a similar
Chief of Staff.
process.
This is better.
The NDC respected the process,
what do we should
and
have
Charlotte
done?
Osei subjected herself. We
yes,
did
yes,
not
yes.
interfere.
Yeah, Hamza, it's okay.
So
it's okay.
allow the
okay.
process
Let's
to
have
work.
time. All right.
If at the end of the day the Chief Justice is found not to be guilty,
Yes, yes, yes.
she would be cleared and she would
All
go
right.
and continue her job.
Today's the Chief of
Stop
Staff birthday.
stampeding
It's okay. Today's the Chief of
the
Staff
efforts
birthday.
of the Chief
Julius-
Justice
Julius
to,
Debra-
in an attempt to defend
Julius Debra is
herself.
celebrating his
Everybody knows
birthday.
where you people stand.
All right. So let me just say this now. The registrar